Hello, my name's Tom Lum. I make video games and weird programming things and music like this. Pew, pew, pew. But the thing I've probably done the most is listen to podcasts. Radiolab was half of the reason why I became a cognitive science major. The Rooster Teeth podcast kept me company alive during lunch in high school. And The Adventure Zone, in my opinion, is one of the coolest, best media experiences ever. I also think Apple has done really trend-setting design in the past, which is why it's really sad that the Apple Podcast app is poorly designed for no reason. Serial is the only podcast that exists. A podcast is an audio show with episodes that are usually about an hour long. And just like music streaming, you can choose to listen to an episode directly, add an episode to your library, or download an episode so you can listen to it offline. Which, apparently the symbol for an episode that's downloaded is no symbol. For comparison, this is what it looks like when you download a song on Spotify. And this is what it looks like when you download an album on Apple Music. Okay. It's also impossible to view a single list of every episode that you've added, so it's basically pointless to add episodes, but we'll get to that later. But again, the actual content of podcasts is so great, and they're just free, which is unbelievable. Support your local podcast network. And just like music streaming, you can create playlists and folders of podcasts that you want to listen together. Oh, it doesn't have that? Like, if you want to, listen to one podcast and then a different one and then, in order. Okay. Oh, okay. I feel like that'd be a good idea to do. But, photos on your phone, you can star and favorite them so that you can always remember your... doesn't have that either. Listen Now is the front page of the app. It's the first tab and the first thing you see, and it's one of the most bizarre lists I've ever seen. Listen Now isn't a list of the most recent episodes released. You can see there's one from 2013 above one that came out Tuesday. Nor is it a list of where you left off in a podcast if you're listening to it in order. Nor is it a list of every episode that you've added. It also weirdly doesn't do the slide all the way left to delete, even though every other app does it and other pages in the podcast app do it. Instead, it shows each podcast's added episode that is most recent. And then it ranks the podcasts in a mysterious way that's different every time and that you can't change or reorder. So a podcast that you love can update today and not show up anywhere near the top. This has happened to me before. And if you're listening to a podcast in order, like The Adventure Zone, it won't keep track of where you are. Now, normally this would be annoying, but okay. But as we'll see later, this is the only way to view a list of all your added episodes, if you can even call it that. What is actually really useful, though, is the recently played feature, especially if you hop on and off between podcasts that you're catching up on. And this is all the way at the bottom. This is where it gets funny. There's no excuse for this. This is just stupid. So this is the library tab. It's super useful. It shows you all the podcasts you listen to and all their episodes. So if you click on shows, it's going to show you all the podcasts you listen to in alphabetical order. Except it doesn't ignore the. So Story Break comes before The Adventure Zone and is grouped with all the other podcasts that start with the. People already do this. Apple already does this. And for podcasts, it's even more common. But no. Also, lowercase titles get placed after capitalized titles. What? And if you click on episodes, you can finally see a chronological ordering of podcast episodes from podcasts that you subscribe to. Finally. Except that when you finish an episode, it disappears. Keep in mind, this isn't a play next queue or your listen now. This is your library. Cool. You can also edit your library to show every episode that you've downloaded but not every episode that you've added. To put this in perspective, on Spotify, the list of songs that you've added is your library. So this is the homepage for a podcast. Every podcast has this. You can see it starts with a list of episodes that you've added, but usually when I go to a podcast's page, I want to see a list of all the episodes of that podcast, which you can see underneath the list of episodes that you've added, no matter how long it is. It's not paginated and you can't hide it. Why am I being punished for adding episodes? Hey, I was wondering, do you have any Sufjan Stevens here? Yeah, we got most of his stuff. It's super good. I'd be happy to show it to you. It's over here. But first, could you quickly just recite out loud every single song of his that you know? Impossible Soul. Come on, Feel the Illinois. This is gonna take a long time. Whoa, buddy, not my problem. Idea? Maybe next time, if you don't want this to take so long, just don't like his music. Adoy. But that's impossible. I know it is. In all seriousness, people, enjoy Sufjan Stevens' music. So you scroll to the bottom and you get to available episodes, and now you can finally see every available episode of that podcast. Except there's no good way to scroll through them quickly, and there are years of podcast episodes. If only someone came up with a design that let you scroll through a big list very quickly. Oh look, the people who made the music app came up with this great design. Now I understand that letters and dates are slightly different domains, but give us something, please. Anyway, this list is great. You can finally look at all the episodes of a podcast and quickly find an episode that you haven't listened to before. What? No. Really? Except the indicator that you've actually listened to an episode before is a tiny check mark. It used to be that when you finished an episode, the text would be grayed out, but now it's virtually impossible to quickly scan for an episode that you haven't seen. Now, right below that, it shows the best of the podcast, which is easily the most broken metric I've ever seen. It is always the 2 most recent episodes or the first episode of the podcast. Even on Comedy Bang Bang, which is a non-sequential, guest-driven podcast, the best of the podcast are apparently the 2 most recent episodes. Very helpful. So helpful. In contrast, on Spotify, an artist's popular list does a really good job of mixing all-time favorites and what's new and trending. And right below that is ratings and reviews, where it shows 1 review to show you, and I have no idea how it picks this because this review is from 8 years ago, back when the show had a different name. So in the old podcast app, you would click on an episode and it would play. And if you wanted to find information, you would click the little ellipses. But now, every time you click on an episode, it goes to the episode's page, and you have to click play there. So it always takes 2 clicks to play an episode. They also changed it so the big album art doesn't do anything anymore. It used to show information, but now it's just there. And now my personal favorite, the bane of my existence, the most cryptic error I've ever seen. This took me so long to decipher. This episode is temporarily unavailable. What does unavailable mean? Did they remove it from the catalog? Is it no longer there? But it's temporarily. How long is temporarily? Is that up to my decision or their decision? Or Apple's decision? Who decides how long temporary is? And as someone who listens to podcasts when you're walking around and out and about, I get this error all the time. You can also trigger and stack the notice infinitely, which is really fun.
Finish him! Fatality.
But here's what this error actually means. You don't have good enough service. And it's also not no service. I've been able to get this error and then stream the same episode on Spotify. But it's not just that. Even if you get better connection, the podcast app is the only app I know that can't reconnect and fix this once it gets better connection. You have to restart the app. That's weird. I'm not really getting good reception here. Hey, yeah, so that episode that you were listening to, yeah, I checked, and, they don't have it anymore. It's weird, really weird. Like, it's just, ugh. Hey, Apple, are you okay? I know you're really, really busy neutering iMovie of all its features and also slowing down our phones without telling us, but like, don't, just why?